an app, and it's a way to connect golfers from all over the country with the professional world and able to play. It's that simple. Tony, and I'll let him explain it. He's going to do a better job than me. But Tony Lodato is with us. And Tony, welcome to the show. Looking forward to seeing you. And I know launching this app and being in the golf business, you got to be excited about what you're doing in the golf business, huh?
Yeah, this is a really exciting time for us. Thanks for having me on the show this morning.
No, it's great.
Yeah, this is something that we've been working on, probably for about a year at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Of trying to figure out a way of just how do we get people more engaged in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think people who play golf just absolutely love golf. They're so into it. And so with our new app, TDJ Golf, we're starting to bring together reality and fantasy. We know that everybody loves fantasy sports. We know everybody loves playing golf. At the same time, a lot of the guys out there are thinking, God, I wish I was out there with these guys. And so,
Sure.
we're finding a way to sort of bring those two worlds together and sort of pairing, what you do on the weekends out when you're playing golf with a fantasy team that you're picking, and then having that whole team sort of compete against others across the country. We think it's a really great way to get people more engaged in the game, find new ways to have fun in the game. And when people do that, we think people are going to play more golf, are going to be more engaged in the tour, and think that'll help the golf industry in total.
Yeah, for sure. Tony Lodato is our guest, who is president of TDJ Golf. More on the app in just a little bit. Tony, I was talking to Nick, our producer, earlier today, and I remember as a member of a club that, like on Masters weekends, U.S. Open weekends, you got to pick your pro. You played 2 days. You got your guy, and the head pro of the golf club where we played put together this really neat tournament. And you're rooting for Phil or you're rooting for Tiger because he's your guy. Is that what kind of spawned this app and this, for you to try to tie the nation together with your app and fantasy golf?
Yeah, you really nailed it on the head there. Played in a lot of those sort of growing up, and as an adult, usually focused, like you said, like around the majors. And so it was, how do we start to take sort of that feeling that you had, build it out and grow it even further?
Mm-hmm.
I think for clubs, how we think there's a great opportunity to sort of engage members, engage their golfers a lot more on a weekly basis, and trying to get folks to follow the tour more closely. A lot of us who play fantasy sports, there's guys we've never really heard of that all of a sudden we start rooting really hard for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, it's really no different in golf too. So, we know with the users that we've been working with so far, it's great when you get down to the guys that are around the cut line. You're cheering hard that they're making the cut now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tony, this is Tony Austin. Congratulations. This is a great idea and certainly something that I know Mac and I have fantasized about. And I think, too, with the interest in team golf, with the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup, great opportunity for team-type events where you've got a team of players. Is your fantasy team that's helping you during your weekend play?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly. We see sort of that aspect where, a lot of guys actually haven't played either collegiate golf or high school golf or anything like that. So the ability to sort of be part of the team, we think will be a large draw, and something that, I can preview that we're sort of working on right now is the ability then for even different groups of users or even clubs to start playing against each other as well and sort of build out squads of people to do this. I think there'll be a lot of interest in that going forward too.
Tony Lodato is our guest. He is president of TDJ Golf. I've got to hit all those letters. As a golfer, and the technology inspired him and his son. And this is great, working with his son Dante to come up with the idea. Was Dante kind of one of those fantasy baseball, fantasy football guys? And so he said, "Hey, Dad, could we do this on a national level? Could we do this for clubs?" So was he kind of an inspiration for you to do this?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, we work very closely on this together. He's my close partner on this. He's a lifetime golfer as well.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, he grew up in a generation of gamers, and so
absolutely
his ability to think through games, how to present them, how to get them in front of people, how to really sort of engage folks, it has really helped us get get where we are today.
So, Tony, when you pitch this to a club, then let's kind of break down the app and kind of break down how it works. You're pitching it to a club. They can increase revenue, right? Because they're promoting tournaments with your app, and you could actually play another club 2,000 miles away, correct? I mean, you could take on another golf club if the pro reaches out or the app, and you could have a turn maybe with 30 clubs competing with the U.S. Open by drafting guys or however it works. So let's break it down, setting up a weekend. How would it work then?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's two main types of leagues that we're going to run. So, yeah, I think let's run through sort of the club side first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we give the ability for the club to design whatever types of tournaments really that they want. You know, do you want to pair with, you know, the one random draw out of a hat kind of guy, that we talked about before,
mm-hmm.
you know, or are you picking a whole squad, you know, 3 guys from the fantasy lineup? That club, though, they can promote those tournaments internally. It's a really sort of nominal setup fee to sort of get everything going. And we see that it's a way where they can really start to engage their members. You know, they can have folks stick around the golf course hopefully longer, watch more of the golf there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the more that we can start to engage people and really get them in, you know, I think they can start to create a lot of good value for their members and their golfers.
Yeah, this could be the XYZ Open. It doesn't have to be the U.S. Open or the Masters. You can just take a weekend tournament, Bay Hill, and say, hey, we're going to play the Bay Hill Invitational this week. And so, maybe I'm going to draw Michael Kim or Dustin Johnson, you know, whoever it might be, to build it. So your idea then, and at the show, you'll be talking to a lot of golf operators saying, hey, we're going to show you how to generate revenue by getting more play, and then, of course, selling a couple of more iced teas when it's all said and done because you're watching the guy.
Exactly.
You're watching your teammate, which can be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're always rooting on your squad.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Tony, so you said it was a year in development. What were the I guess why did it take you a year to kind of put this all together? Was it the graphics and building an app? I can't imagine what it's like to build an app. Did it, just from a design standpoint, did it take you guys a long time?
Design, yeah, a lot of design and a lot of thought around what should that user experience be?
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to go back and forth? A lot of testing on what works and, frankly, what doesn't work. You learn an awful lot when you roll it out to people for the first time and they pick it up and put it in their own hands. So a lot of good back and forth there. And also working through just the legal side of structuring the company, starting to work on patents and things like that as well.
As a matter of fact, I just called it up. I see your logo. I just put it in my phone, and I'm sorry I didn't do this earlier, but I just did it. This app looks fabulous. I'm downloading it as we speak for my phone.
Excellent.
This really, really looks good. So I can see where I could see where this took some time.
Yeah, and that's all credit to Dante. He's an artist at heart, and he can visualize things far better than the sort of old insurance guy can. That way.
That's great. Tony Lodato is our guest and president of the TDJ app for golf and to play fantasy golf. Tony, with this, and did you have to get approval from the PGA Tour?
Yeah, we've been working through and trying to figure out, making sure that everything's licensed. The nice thing about fantasy sports is the information that's out there is basically all publicly available.
Mm-hmm.
The stats around what somebody shoots and things like that. So it's good that people, that we are not the first people to sort of go down the fantasy road. But at the same time, we're actually very different from other fantasy sport platforms as well. There's really no quote unquote gambling involved here. We're working through, we want people to come in, play, have a great time. If they're playing a lot, they'll earn rewards and reward points for new golf gear and things like that. We actually see this more as platform where folks can come out and engage in the game more
mm-hmm.
versus, a typical fantasy sports type app where people are, trying to get out there and actually make some good money on it.
Yeah, that's good. And I think I failed to mention, I apologize because I know you and I conversed. You live just up the road in Sanford, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
It's a great place where we can play golf all year round.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, how can people now, and we'll see at the show, and if people are going to the show, to look for your presentation, but can people go to a website or just download the app on their phone? What should they do now to find out more about TDJ Golf?
Yeah, I would definitely have them go to www.tdjgolf.com.
Okay.
There's links to download from there. A lot of good information about the platform, what it's all about. So I'd highly recommend that people go and check it out there.
All right. Well, Tony, I tell you what, love the innovators. We just talked to a guy about hickory shafts and hickory clubs. We went old and new today. So it's amazing how the game, it's amazing how the game covers such a spectrum. And, God, all the best. We wish you the best. I'm going to find you at the show. So you will be at the convention center for 3 days?
Yes, we will. Booth 3015.
All right, 3015. I'll look you up. I'll come by and say hello. I want to meet Dante. I want to see what it was like to design an app. I want to certainly hear all about it. We wish you all the best, and we will kind of keep our ear to the ground and see how things are going with this.
Great. Thanks again for having. Great.